murdering a woman, because he broke into the house when he was 15 years old as a kid. This is now, he's in his late 20s, and they said, oh, he must have murdered that person. He went to jail for it. Come to find out, the town of Air, their police department was corrupt as anything, and he ended up, she was a high school dropout, she got her GED, went to college, became an attorney, and was able to prove his innocence and got him released. So I started looking at it and said, okay, something similar timeline, similar thing, and it just is spider web. So I wrote the first story on all on the Watchtower. Come to find out, he was involved with several black ops things that deal with the Iran-Contra affair, which was basically smuggling cocaine into the country and shipping arms out. And for a guy that he showed me his military record, it's been completely washed to the point where he said, I was in special forces, I was qualified, I had this training, I had that, and we started looking into it all, and he ended up getting he found a pay stub, through FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, submitted it. He goes, there's gotta be somebody that knows. FOIA comes back, they gave him all his pay stubs. It says jump training. He says, here's your jump pay. So he submits that back, and he was able to get it put on his discharge paper. They had him down for somebody who had been in the military for about 6 years. It was just one classification of national defense medal, that was it. And he's been arguing, trying to find this paperwork and stuff, and he knows more than the average soldier would know. So you know something's up, and as a result of that, it just kind of has spider webbed to the point of other things he's told me he was involved in and stuff. And I said, all right, you want to do the second one? I go more on not so much your court case, but let's do he sued the CIA, and he sued a lot of different companies, government agencies and stuff, and he has proven his case more times than, but he's still in prison. I mean, so it's also about holding accountability when you're reporting something like that, and it's so that's what the next section is on. And I mean, I have paperwork, my daughter can attest to this fact. I mean, half my garage is filled with it, and it's just files on people, and other cases that have mentioned this or that person, and that's why I was saying the octopus murders on Netflix is that's one portion of this case that I'm working on. And the last thing is the screenplay, which we're working on getting into production within the next 6 to 8 months, which is constant rewrites. I mean,
yeah. And does it kill you when you write something and then they change it so much, and then you have to like accept their feedback, or does it just like kill your heart a little bit?
I've come to the point in my career now where they did it to me on one book. I'm not letting them do it again.
Gotcha.
And it's I look at I read the contracts thoroughly. I want to know exactly what. I mean, you get a contract where, hey, we'll pay you 85 cents a book. That's fair for somebody with 1 to 3 books out. And then you get another one that says, well, we got to recoup our costs, which means you may never see it, because if they don't put the promotion behind it, or they just turn around and say, after one print run, well, it sold, we had a print run of 2,000, okay? And what? Well, we had so many returns come back, and say it was 500 returns. We only allow in the first print run 200 returns. We're not doing it again. So they didn't give it enough time to get out there and sell it. It's, if you want to be a writer, study promotion, marketing, everything you can get your hands on is the best advice.
Do you ever start writing something that doesn't work, and what do you do?
Oh yeah.
You abandon projects all the time?
Just concepts, you kind of like, I just throw it in a folder and you it might relate to another story you're working on, so you just pull it and see if it fits in. It's constant, I call it manipulation of stories, basically, how, you know, take from this, take from that, and just make it work.
Has there been a teacher, a parent, or someone that has had a major impact on what you do or do as a
What about
writer?
the youth ones?
Good question. My cousin, when I contacted him about the first book and stuff, and he kind of guided me in every step of the way, and he was like, you know, how to deal with people, how to read people. Like I said, you're gonna come across interviews where then people aren't gonna be so cooperative. And you gotta, well, what is it, they wanna know, well, who are you, what are you doing, can they trust you? And so you almost have to study, you know, body language and word your questions carefully and see what you can pull out of them without insulting them, without being, and he taught me all that. And he taught me how to find resources. And just a funny story, he was writing an article on the Special Forces group over in Vietnam. And this was years after the war had ended and everything. And I go, how'd you get these guys? Because Special Forces guys sign waivers basically to say they can't speak about certain stuff that they were involved with. They can still be prosecuted 60, you know, years after the fact. And I said, oh, how'd you get these guys to talk? He goes, well, he goes, think about it. He goes, these are rough and tough guys, right? Because they have every year they have a huge convention in Vegas. I said, so what'd you do? He goes, well, I went out to Vegas. He goes, I talked to the head guys and said, you know, how can you use names? He goes, you know, having a reputation of being respectful towards people over the years, that helps. And I said, then what happened? He goes, well, after everything was said and done, he goes, I got invited out to the desert. He goes, we were out there for 3 weeks. He goes, I wasn't sober a single damn day. He goes, these guys just kept drinking, fell asleep, drinking, telling war story. He goes, I got it all down on tape. He goes, and that's how I did it. And so, I mean, he kind of showed me those, like, sometimes you gotta think outside the box. It's not just sitting down with somebody saying, hey, tell me about yourself. And it's getting people to trust you, open up to you, and dealing with them fairly. Don't lie and say, well, I'm not gonna put that in the book, and then do it. When I did Bill Tyree's book, I said, listen, I'm gonna present the facts. I says, I'm not gonna hide anything of your past, or put my, you know, input in. I said, it is what it is. This is it. Let the reader decide. I go, that's the only way I'm gonna do this with you. If you can't do that, I'll do what I can on my own and not have your help. And he goes, no, he goes, I think that's fair. He goes, I got nothing to hide. We did it. And he was pleased with it. So it's, that he taught, like I said, my cousin taught me all that, so.
Well, I need to gab them for a couple seconds before class ends, but what would your last parting words of advice be?
Enjoy the writing process, read as much as possible, write as much as possible, and have fun with it. Don't think, oh, I'm gonna do this for the money. It does not work. Money will come. Enjoy what you're doing at the time. Thank you guys for having me, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I think we got through most of the questions. I think you answered most of the
Well,
stuff.
if you got
And so-
anything else, like I said, you got my email address.
Yeah, and
or-
I will put your website on our campus page and so that students can kind of check you out.
Yeah, do you have it, or?
Yes, I think Meadow shared that with me, so yeah.
Yeah,
I have your
author William
website.
J.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank
And,
you.
like I
Thank you.
say, anytime you need
Thank you
me
so
to
much.
come to class, I
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. I
Thank you.
appreciate it so
Thank
much.
you for your time,
You're
sir.
from,
Thank
you're
you.
from,
Thank
are you
you.
from Boston? Where are you from?
I'm originally Boston.
Boston, yeah. Not from